Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The OpTic versus FaZe drama continues. Some pro SnD money 8s going down the other day with 2buck Thuglords, SnD coach and analyst for Atlanta FaZe getting involved in a bit of beef here with OpTic Pred. Pred calling him out for dropping a donut on a 6-star search and destroy. 2buck seemingly not so happy with that and goes and searches up some screenshots. Who won the beef? Will it continue? Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Black Ops 6 is coming out later this year. Which maps do we want to see remastered? Toronto come out with 4 maps across the 4 different Black Ops titles, excluding Black Ops Cold War. This, of course, is Grid from Black Ops 1. What a map. And I was honestly thinking about Black Ops 1 maps to bring back, and I thought, you know what, Havana. That was a great map from Black Ops 1, but I looked it up, and actually I think they remastered it for Cold War. So hopefully it'll come back again. It was obviously a classic map because there were some, famous scump clips on that map all the way back in Black Ops 1. This is Yemen for Black Ops 2, a map that I actually really liked, and for Hardpoint especially, although it got a bit of more hate, I think, than it deserved. This is Fringe. Like, look, if I have to choose a map to come back, okay, we're probably not going to have advanced movement, so Black Ops 3 maps might not work, but, give me a chance to glaze Black Ops 3, I'm going to do it. The one that I actually do really want is Strongholds. That was my favourite map for Black Ops 3, was this one if you guys aren't familiar, and this map is one of the maps I think that could be quite easily adapted for a non-jetpack version of the game. There isn't much you'd have to do, just the wall run on the outside, you'd have to just, make that a staircase or like change the way that's designed to some degree, and then this jump up have a ladder or whatever, right? There's a couple of things you'd have to change, but generally, this map could work absolutely, I think, for boots on the ground. So bring back Stronghold as far as I'm concerned. Frequency could also work. I mean, all the Black Ops 4 maps, Arsenal, stuff like this, could definitely work because, they weren't jetpack maps either. Unfortunate update here as well from Doug Censor Martin confirming that due to injuries that he sustained in his mega training that he's putting in to try and break the world record for pull-ups in 24 hours, he's going to have to push it back. So I think they were going to do it, 22nd of June, but it's just not going to be happening. So Doug's pushing it back. I wonder how the timing's going to work on this because all of a sudden, Doug's, no longer doing it, but he's simply just got to push it back a little bit. Date to be determined. They're going to do probably like a lighter training session on that day instead in what their, plan is going to be for the watch party, the attendance, all that type of good stuff. So, wishing the best for Doug. Like, just a mega undertaking that he's trying to deliver here. And I'm not surprised that it's taking a toll. I'm sure he expected it to be a challenge, and, that is obviously what it is. Do wonder, though, June 22nd, you got to think if Doug is no longer doing the world put-up records, does he have time to sub into the COD team? Do they need it? Maybe they do. Let's be honest, some of the players they've put into the team over the last couple of iterations have not been dropping great numbers. Doug can drop not great numbers, but he can also plant the bomb and potentially win you some search and destroys and maybe help teach those guys how to play. So maybe there's that. And also, we talked about August, right, earlier today, the Esports World Cup. Maybe there's time there for Doug to get out for that one, which he may be looking to get involved in as well. Quickly on challenges, we actually got yesterday up on the Breaking Point site all of the challenges elite stages. EasyMac was just doing a killer job as always putting this stuff together. Wanted to look through a few highlights here actually because, well, on the European side, we had Cobra dropping some absolute immense numbers here. We had a 1.7 in this series. Just there's been lots of talk about Cobra because French player, similar to, aBeZy is Belgian but French speaking, and then Brezzy, obviously he was on the team with Linz, that was the Awobabobs in challenges last year that won an awful lot. So there has been a lot of talk that Cobra may be a real next up player into the league next season, and I would not be surprised if that happened at this point. This, though, I thought was pretty impressive. So RTTs, since having gone down to challenges, always with these players, especially as a multi-world champion, right? Guys like Slasher, guys like Illy, they're world champions. They're not going to go down there to challenges and grind because they don't feel the need to. But in Nastie's case, he wanted to play challenges, and also probably he kind of needed to play challenges just because he doesn't maybe have the stock anymore. He's been dropped from a couple of teams now. The fact that Surge dropped him and got substantially better is not a great indication just because, Boston, they dropped Slasher, and bad for Slasher, but they've literally not won a series since Slasher was gone, whereas obviously Surge is the other way around. So Arstes feels the need to go to challenges and grind out, and I think he's doing a better and better job over time. It's nice to see because this series they 3-0'd FaZe Black, very impressive, and then they 3-0'd Brooklyn, another good team with Assault, Dak, ErikBooM and Lunas. And Nastie's this series at a 1.36. Now they didn't have the damage for the first couple of maps, that's why, but still, Law Gaming cooked both of those teams, FaZe Black and Omit, two of the best teams in challenges. So it does make things look really interesting, of course, as the Challengers Championship approaches not that far away. They nearly made it through the whole day without somebody quitting, but yeah, unfortunately ProLute did, so he gets the 0 in 30 to his name, and as Nastie says, won both the league games versus FaZe Black and Brooklyn, and putting out some highlights right here. So yeah, he's going to try his best, Nasties, to get back into the league, and absolutely understandably so. This is a nice 1v1 he clutches towards the end of this 6-star search and destroy as well. Not too different actually to what we're going to see in a second here with Preds versus Tupac, as we shall get into right about now. One final bit of 6-star cheese though here from Beans. They're scrimming Boston up against FaZe. We can see in the top left it is, well, Cellium, Priestahh, aBeZy, Priestahh and all this stuff, and here they are rotating over towards P4. These are the Boston boys, of course, in blue in this occasion. FaZe are in red, and, you know, they're spawning over in P2. We get number 4, number 3, number 1, all in the same spot. Number 2's just died over here. Obviously, this is, you know, the old hardpoint, but this is going to be the new one, so they're looking to rotate. Where do you think the arrow for FaZe is going to spawn here? You got to think number 7's here, number 6 is here, number 5's here. You got to think that he's going to spawn somewhere near number 6, you would think. If he gets a nice advanced spawn, he might even spawn near number 5, but or could spawn in the back behind number 6 in this little area here, maybe like kind of nearby number 7, but it's got to be on this side of the map, right, you would think. I mean, let's be honest, this is still the old hardpoint, the new one's coming soon, and he's got to spawn with his team. But no, number 8 spawns here. So, yeah, why? I don't know. He spawns right next to all of the blue guys, and therefore the Boston boys just immediately get flanked. And this is just brutal, isn't it? Number 8 just gets an absolute blessed spawn. They're just about to rotate to the new point, and there's no way that you can predict this if you're Boston, that he's going to spawn behind you. And even right at the end of the clip, you see that Priestahh, who I guess just, or whoever it was, who just died, spawns right in the middle. I think we can just, yeah, here we go. Number 2 spawns right here, and it's probably at this moment they realize, hang on, this is a bit weird, just because you wouldn't spawn here in the middle of the map unless something was happening. And 8, of course, I imagine goes on the flank and probably picks up a couple of kills. So 6-star has changed, but it's still a bit problematic in terms of spawns, and it's a good map, I think, but it's just the spawn system. I mean, look at the fact that these arrows are just all over the map in a square. Like, that should not really be how it's meant to be. So the OpTic boys, of course, had an interesting weekend. They won one of their series. They then lost, of course, to Vegas on the final day in controversial fashion. There was this Subliners Ravens series earlier in the weekend. They seemed pretty impressed about this little spot here that Skyz was trying to use to get an angle, but of course didn't get anything done. But the other day we also finally saw some search and destroy and some hardpoint 8s back in business. We've heard the OpTic guys talk about this. We've heard Drazah talk about this, among others, that why are these players who are not very good not trying to get better and improve? There are plenty of teams that are way behind the pace right now. The league is probably the least competitive it's ever been from top to bottom, right? The top teams, certainly for the majority of the season, will almost always slap around the teams at the bottom. We've seen that in the past, obviously, especially when it was like, even like Black Ops 4, 5 versus 5 with 16 teams. There were some bad teams compared to the top teams, sure. That is how it's going to be. And even you can argue today, if you put 4 more teams in this league, are those teams that competitive? Probably in some part no, but I think a couple of them probably would be, because they might actually try a couple of these teams, and that's been the point that Kenny of others have made, that, you know, the mentality of these teams is pretty weak. But thankfully we are seeing some of those guys actually decide to play a little bit more. Instead of just hopping on for their couple of scrims, taking their paycheck and going home for the day, they're going to try and get better. They're going to try and be the best version of themselves they can be, and I think, to be honest, they kind of need to, because otherwise you're going to get dropped. The off-season is coming up soon. So hardpoint 8s, search and destroy 8s, now to some degree back in business, and we saw some games of this the other day. Not everyone here is going to be a pro. Like, some of these guys are either former pros, obviously ProLute, who was on OpTic not long ago, now is in challenges, and then of course we also have on the other team Mr. Tupac. Now Tupac Thuglord, which is like a fantastic gamer tag obviously, but just goes by Tupac basically today, was in these 8 on the other side, and he does not have the best time in this one.
I tagged one. He's out on you. I saw it. In the smoke, he ran out. Is that?
I was gonna call you were retaking the slow.
Nah, he's awful. He's got 0. He's actually. No, Drazah. I don't know. Drazah flew back out.
What the? What happened?
Oh my god.
So I guess firstly, I don't know if there was any more context to this specific clip here, right? Because obviously SpawnUp puts it out there and says, Pred laughing at Tupac for being terrible after he drops a donut in Pro 8s. And obviously, Tupac himself weren't so happy about that, right? He said, you know, what a capture that was. But yeah, he then ats Pred and says, Kangaroo Jack, you were wildin' in this clip. GG's, man, you're a beast. Which is obviously the same thing that Pred said the other day to Vegas, right? Like when obviously Pred lost that series, he said, yeah, GG's Vegas, those guys are beasts, which is obviously very much sarcastic. So obviously, I guess what Tupac's saying is, yeah, you're a beast, man. Yeah, nicely done, Pred. Because then he comes out with all the screenshots, which I thought was pretty hilarious, really. So I guess I'll just share these on the big screen for a second, just so you guys can see the whole picture here. Because he comes out with 4 screenshots. This guy, Tupac, decides to scrub the VOD and find all the screenshots from the games where Pred didn't do so well. So here we are on a high rise, 6-3. Pred goes 2-8 for the loss. Tupac goes 9-5 for the win. 2 of them were funny, though, because on this one, Tupac was on Pred's team, right? You know, Blast was here, Kiz was here, and it was 4-7 for Pred, 8-6 for Tupac for a 3-6 loss. So you know, I don't really know why we're putting out screenshots of when they actually were on the same team and we're losing. He did the same thing in this one, I think. Yeah, when Pred goes 2-7 on a high rise for a 4-6 loss, and Tupac goes 6-6. It's not like he was frying and got costed necessarily. And then there was this one where Pred goes 3-6 and Tupac goes 5-2 for a 6-0 win. So I don't know, maybe Pred's comments got to Tupac to some degree because he's coming out with all the screenshots here for Money 8s for, I don't know if it's necessarily necessary, but look, whatever. It does increase a little bit of the FaZe versus OpTic interesting tensions going from now to the end of the season, because Tupac the other day also tweeted this out after they won both Search and Destroys against the Subliners. Hello, the We're Back department. I'd like to file a claim. Like, you know, we're officially back in the Search and Destroy department. That's what he does for those guys. And obviously, when they were terrible at Search at the Major, that was not looking so good for him. Now, Tupac, by the way, is a phenomenal Search and Destroy player. And if you've ever watched his stream or anything, this guy does understand the game on a really deep level, but definitely raises the excitement even for the rest of the season. And just to close out with this is the schedule for the weekend. Of course, we'll talk tomorrow exactly how this is going to play through. But the one interesting note here is that Miami Heretics, they play every day of this weekend, which I don't know has happened at all so far this season. I don't know if that's really ever happened, but they play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I don't know if that's going to be good or bad, especially the last game Saturday is going to be interesting, but very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
He's just having fun. This is like a clash project for him. Look at him, bro. Look how happy he was. And he's doing the air dick. And why the fuck is Ricky so good at this goddamn air dick, brother? Why can he do that so well? How often did he practice that in the mirror? Because you know he had to at least once, bro. There had to be a moment in his life where he was like, yo, I'm going to make this my thing right now. This is going to be my thing for a long time. And I got to make sure I'm good at it. There is no way at some point in his life that he didn't look into the mirror and make sure that it was super coordinated and very believable, because he is very good at this. And first of all, bro, he's got to stop with all this like finger in the booty shit. You go down south and you rub around there maybe a handful of times a year when you're really horny. Okay, he's acting like he does this every time he has. Am I doing it wrong? I don't like butt stuff, bro. What is he doing? What is he even cooking, bro? What has he got his hand in a fucking cauldron? Why is he grabbing his belt buckle like this? God fucking damn it, bro. His walkout was so much better than mine, bro.